Hello everyone, it's Andrew from Andrew's Orchid Balcony. I just want to do a little chat I think about um, something that I kind of just I don't know, I don't want to say discover because I have no proof of it. But I was listening to Margaret East um, talk about her phalaenopsis last weekend and how it had crown rot. But you could really see that the media was quite dry, so it almost looks like how did that happen? But over the past year, or over this summer, I should say, the same thing happened to my phalaenopsis too, and I found it kind of odd because I had them quite dry, and I know I didn't get water in their crowns because I wasn't watering them. So it kind of brought something on that made me think maybe it's not necessarily water that gets in the crowns or humidity, but more of a nutrient thing, like Rick always talks about. So I'm just gonna show you my last surviving phal real quick. And now I keep it really moist, and it's getting sprayed, and it's getting watered all the time, and it's coming back. It's coming back from the dead. It's got new roots and all kinds of stuff happening. So, and that's not its place that it stays down there. I just brought it down for us to look at. But anyways, I kind of think that some of us think that the crown rot is coming from the way we water. I think it's from the way we don't water. And the reason why I say this is that if we are constantly, a lot of people say you got to water let them dry out, and don't overwater. I keep all I had the best success with my phals keeping them sitting in water, and they were at about 75 or hotter, and always had constant airflow. I had huge roots that filled the pots, had flower spikes, and could rescue them, and they just loved it. But as soon as I took my phals out of that semi-hydro kind of setup that I had and put them into these little decorative things and brought them in the house and kept them drier, because I knew that they weren't going to get the same conditions inside like they would in this grow space here, they started to fail over, I would say, rather quickly, maybe a month or two. From me having them for 3 years to them basically dying in a month or two of inside conditions. And that was partly because I was being so cautious of not to water them so that they wouldn't rot, that they actually did. And the reason why I think that they rotted was because without the water being able to provide nutrients to them, they had no calcium for their crowns. And we all know what Rick L says about calcium and new growth and things of that nature. So it kind of dawned on me that maybe from some of us not watering often enough, we're actually causing the crown rot, because there's not enough nutrient in the plant. And I know a lot of, we would only think that because we see that the bottom leaves aren't dying or something like that. But if a phalaenopsis only has a few leaves as is, how many bottom leaves are going to die before the crown starts to fail? I don't think the plant's going to kill off all of its leaves just so it can produce a new one out of the top. So for plants that are small like this, where you got one or 2, 3, maybe even 4 leaves, I don't think the plant is going to send a signal to itself where it says, let me drain these bottom leaves so that I can create a new structure. And we all know that calcium is not a mobile nutrient too. So even if it did, it wouldn't be gaining any calcium for its new leaf. So that's my hypothesis, I'll say, on why my phals in particular probably died. And I also think that's maybe what happened with Margaret East's phalaenopsis too, is that they weren't getting enough nutrient because we were keeping them dry, worrying about overwatering them and rotting them out, that they weren't able to get enough nutrient then to provide the substances they need to keep on growing. So that's my idea. Maybe you guys could put in the comments what you think. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. But I'd like to hear back maybe. I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me something different. So that was my quick little chat. Maybe I'll do another little video on me moving all my stuff around again. I don't know. I just, yesterday morning I cleaned this greenhouse up and I got everything off the floor. Like, I had no more plants on the floor, basically, except for my vanilla and my 2 frags down there. And I had cleared all of these plants off of this wall too, and I basically put all my plants up on a new shelf there. I reorganized these shelves. I added another shelf down on the bottom here, and I put a lot of my mounts, as you can see, over there now. So I had this all cleaned out, and then I went to the Orchid meeting. This is my second one. I decided to join and see what it's all about, and just get further, deeper into the hobby. And unfortunately, one of the members had passed away, so they brought in all their orchids, and I ended up coming home with some orchids that I wasn't expecting, and some really nice ones actually. Like, I was really quite impressed with the ones that I got. So, and I got a few that actually I probably never would have ever even thought to buy. So, it's something new, something different. And, actually I'm kind of happy that I actually am now going to my Orchid Society. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that little hypothesis of mine. And maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't, but I think that's where maybe a lot of our orchids fail, is we get so caught up in this let them dry out, wet dry cycle thing, that we're not always giving them what they want. But I don't know, I always found my orchids to do best whenever I just water them. All these pots here are basically a reservoir, and they all have about an inch or so of water in them, and I'm getting new roots. I just repotted some of these because they're getting kind of big where they had roots coming out of the bottom. These are my halves. I got some, let's see, this Fritz Schomburg that I just got has some roots growing there, so I'm pretty happy with that. Some of my little green hornet there, sending up one. I think I may have pollinated the last flower, the little, I don't know what you would call this, the petiole or something like that, the column. Anyways, it seems like it's still alive, maybe forming some seeds, so maybe I will have some seeds to try and sow and see if I can get going again. Some of the other things that are out, the Siku Marguerite is coming out. It has quite a few little spikes up in there. My Anceps, this one is still growing. It's not even close to being ready. Some of the other ones are still got their spikes coming too. This one had 2, but it looks like this one had stopped. This one's still coming. This is opened up. This horrible looking Dendrobium phalaenopsis is putting out some flowers, but I mounted them because they seem to, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but since I've mounted this thing, this one has put out some roots. I think this one is too. This thing is starting to look a little bit better. This one here is putting out tons of roots. So yeah, I decided to mount all of the Dendrobium phalaenopsis now and see if I can't get them to do better. And then this poor little Potinara has I don't know, the weirdest thing happens with this plant for me. Like the first spike it had, the buds didn't even develop, and they were really tiny, and they opened up when they were super small. Like, I would say almost the size of my pinky nail there. Like, they were super small when they opened, and they didn't develop right. So I stopped watering the plant for sure, and then they seemed to develop. But I took my plant apart and cut off some of the old plant and mounted it, and maybe I can see if I can get it to grow better mounted. So I have a few cattleyas there mounted. This thing is, like I said, opening up fairly good now, but yet the flowers, you could still see they're semi, how would you say, like deformed. Encyclias are pumping up, giving out roots. Let's see how the bag babies are doing. That the dosa here, or yellowbird, is putting out some, the new growths are coming on, and I see new roots, so that's good. But as you can see, these leaves here, they're shriveled. I could probably soak that one, but it doesn't seem like it's taking anything up, so I don't know what's up with it, but it's not very happy. Oh, and this one. This is the Neostylus lucerneri. Has 2 spikes on it. So that's good. And they both look like they're happy and coming along. Let's see what this thing's doing. Anything? Yeah. The roots are growing a little bit, so I guess that's a win. That's a win for that one. This lucerneri or Neostylus isn't really, it's growing, but it's not blooming. So yeah, a few things. I lost a little Neophanetia falcata cherry blossom, I think it was called. It just stopped performing, or not performing, but growing. I got it when I got this one, and it was a small fan like this. This one, they both came like this. So this one seems to be putting on growth and growing. The other one didn't. I don't know what happened with it. Oh, something that I can't wait to bloom. This. You know, and so I went to my Orchid Society yesterday, and I was like, I should take this. I should take my Wildcat here, and the sun is coming out now, so bear with me. My Sherry Baby that has, or not Sherry Baby, but Heaven Scent or Sweet Scent or whatever it's called, has 5 spikes on it. But I was like, no, Andrew, don't take it. It's an Oncidium. Everyone can grow Oncidiums and this and that. I don't know. I talked myself out of it. So then when I got there was one Oncidium there, and I was like, really, I should have took mine. But this dendrobium, I just keep looking at it, and it has some little things coming on, like little nubbins right in here. I don't know if you can see it with the light there. I hope it flowers. I'm not watering it. It gets misted, but I'm not really watering it. So hopefully I can get it to bloom, a mass blooming this year. I moved my cattleyas over to this little coat rack that I put some plants on. See, I screwed some pots on here and have my little cattleya rack now. Oh, and one dendrobium here is coming into a spike. But this cat here is blooming, and it has a weird scent. Not a weird scent, but it's kind of like, smells like roses to me, but then with like a peppermint after smell. After fragrance, after smell. I don't know. It's funny because one of the guys at the orchid meeting whenever he describes a plant that has a fragrance, he always says, "This plant has an odor," and we all say, "Is it a bulbophyllum or is it is it something else?" You expect pleasant smelling things to have a fragrance or a scent, not an odor. But this one looks like it has another bud or so coming on, so that's good. Let's see what else. Anything? Oh, this thing. Laelia crispa, or Schomburgkia. Oh no, it's Laelia gloriosa, synonym Schomburgkia crispa. That thing just does not want to extend anymore for some reason. That spike should get at least 3-4 foot long. So hopefully I'll be able to see it one of these days. Oh, and the last little thing. One of my accomplishments from one of these plants that I said I'll never own. One of these Vandas. Look, I'm getting. I don't know what color it's gonna be. I bought these plants on discount. So this will show me what it is. I mean, I'm looking at it. It looked like it has some kind of a reddish tinge on the tips of the bud here. So maybe it's some kind of a red or pink Vanda. Don't know. But that'll be something nice to see when it comes out. And let's see, and something else kind of new here is this thing. My Beleta. I think it's called Beleta. It's a Chinese ground orchid. Has some new little growths coming on it. So that's pretty neat. Hopefully we can get this to sorry for that. This thing to grow so it will give me some blooms, and them are purple blooms on it. But yeah, I got some oncidiums, some frags, some pass. I got some no ID pass, and I'll just show you the ones that I really would have never ever picked, but I got these ones for free because they were in kind of horrible condition. Oh, and this member had lots of bugs, but they all got a bleach treatment and unpotted before anything came in here. So this is a Peristera pendula, and this has like kind of reddish brownish clusters that kind of come on the flower. I think that one is, yeah, and it looked kind of nice, so that's kind of neat. And then this one is Neomorea, I believe it's called, and this one has white flowers actually with like a phalaenopsis kind of lip. It has kind of like, if you know what a Zygnosia, I think it's called, snowbird looks like. It has like them white star shaped flowers, but this one has that, and then it has like a orangey brown lip like a phalaenopsis on it, so that's kind of neat. So that's a few plants that I probably never ever would have bought, so that's kind of cool. After I looked them up, I was like, oh, that's neat. Give them a try. And let me show you these beasts. So this is a Brassia rex. I mean, just look at this plant. Look at the bulbs there. Try not to drop it. They're huge. So hopefully, this had one flower spike on it from like a super old growth. Has a few new growths, so hopefully I'll be able to get it to bloom pretty soon here. And then this thing is a no ID, and the crazy thing is half the plant went in the garbage. So I took off all the old stuff and kept the new stuff, so I have no idea what this could be. It's a really big bulb plant, and it's quite vigorous. It's sending up like 2-3 new growths per old pseudobulb. So it's some sort of Oncidium or Brassia. So that will be kind of neat to see too. But yeah, that was what my weekend is. Hopefully I can try and get some more videos in. But yeah, thanks for all the new subscribers. Thanks for watching. And like I said, leave your comment down below. Let me know what you think about that deficiency thing. Maybe that is something that we need to start looking at, instead of always just thinking that we're rotting it out with water, but we're actually rotting our plants out with nutrient deficiency. Alright, thank you for watching, and thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.